So I just want to start by welcoming everyone. Welcome to the University of Florida and the Agronomy Department. My name is Kevin Kenworthy. I'm the graduate coordinator for the department. Uh, Lisa Burnett, who all of you know as the person who was the most important individual in helping you become a member of the department as a graduate student. And, uh,
Very nice. Thank you.
and uh,
Thank you.
uh, Lorraine White. Is Lorraine joining us today, Lisa? Or is she out
Um,
on email?
she's working on registration, but she was going to try to pop in when she can.
So just as a heads up, Lisa's critically important for the admission and everything you're doing right now. And Lorraine becomes critically important when you're registering for classes and following up with more of those things. There's Lorraine able to join us. So we're more or less the administrative help for graduate students. And we have Dr. Farrell, our department chair, who is joining us at the beginning of the meeting. And I'm going to turn it over to him for some comments and a welcome from the department. Dr. Farrell.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate this. And I just want to sort of put an exclamation point on what Kevin said as far as welcome to the agronomy department, welcome to IFAS. You are in a very rare place right now. And as an incoming student, this is a tremendous opportunity, and you should be very proud of your achievements for getting to this place. Currently, the UF IFAS is the #1 agricultural college in the world. And the agronomy department is one of the most productive and acclaimed departments within all of IFAS. So the fact that you're a graduate student here puts you in very rare company. And I'm very thankful that each of you are here because this is going to have a huge and meaningful, lasting impact on your career. And I would ask that each of you just take a moment to be thankful for what you've been able to achieve and the fact that you're in such an amazing place with such amazing colleagues. And just encourage you to take advantage of these next few years. You're going to be around tremendous mentors, and you're going to have colleagues, and you're going to build relationships while you're here that will follow you for the rest of your career. So take full advantage of every opportunity that this department has. Join the Graduate Student Association, become connected. Everything that you do that's extra only adds more to the experience that is already going to be amazing for you. I also want to welcome some of our newer faculty members, Eli Russell, Ednaldo Borgado, and Dr. Nigas from down in Belglade. And it's not always common that we have faculty members here, but what is going to be covered today is a lot of very important things as far as timelines and responsibilities. And students, you need to be aware of what is required when. And some of these new faculty members also need to be aware of those things so that the two of you can work together. But the good news is when you get emails from Lisa and Lorraine, you won't get many from them. But when you see an email from Lisa and or Lorraine, it is an important one. So really start paying attention to those. And when you get them, please read the entire message because they work very hard to keep their emails short and concise. But when they email you, it is something that really needs to be on your radar. But at any time, if you feel that you're lost, if you feel that you don't know what's going on, please reach out to your advisor, reach out to Dr. Kenworthy as graduate coordinator, or Lisa and Lorraine as our admin coordinators, and they will make sure that you get the right information at the right time. Everyone here is committed to your success, and this department is great because we've had great students for a very, very long time. So with that, Kevin, thank you for allowing a bit of time this afternoon.
Absolutely, Dr. Farrell. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Well, we also have another staff member, Netta, on, who is our computer guru. information technology specialist. And so, Netta, why don't you uh, say a quick hello about what you're here to offer?
Yeah, hi. I'm happy to be here. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited that you are here with us today and that you're joining our team in agronomy. We are an awesome team, so I think you're gonna like it here. I am the IT admin for agronomy. Any IT needs that you need, I am here to help you. My office is in McCarty B on the second floor, 2107 is the room number. So feel free to come stop by, reach out to me. Everyone has my contact information, so I'm sure you can get it from your advisors or anyone else. But again, my office is McCarty B on second floor, 2107. So if you need anything, I am their IT person. So come see me.
And a little bit of advice if you need some IT assistance, and it's important to include your chairperson in that conversation. If you're communicating with Netta, then make sure your chair is in that as well so that they can be part of any decisions that need to be made. So I thought I would let before we get into a lot of the things that I will transfer in terms of information, I thought I would let Lisa and Lorraine go ahead and talk about what they do. And so, Lisa, why don't you go first?
Okay. Hi, everybody. Like Dr. Kenworthy said, I probably communicated with all of you several times over the course of the last few weeks and months as we brought you on board. I handle most of the onboarding processes, so that's why we've had a lot of communication so far. But you'll also start hearing from me as we move through the semesters. I keep track of different milestones that you'll need to meet during your program. So you'll be hearing from me occasionally asking for whatever the milestone might be by a certain time frame. So I help you all keep track of that, and I will copy your advisor as well. So we can try to keep everyone on target with their program and all the requirements that agronomy has, as well as different requirements grad school has. We don't do anything with immigration and visa, anything like that. If you have any questions about that, of course, that's the International Center. But anything that has to do with your academic program and any forms, any deadlines, please always just ask us. Lorraine or I can always, if we can't answer it, we can find out and tell you who can. Any questions you have to ask me as you get started into your programs, just let me know. And, you know, feel free to contact me for anything, and welcome. We're happy to have all of you.
Thank you, Lisa. Lorraine?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Lorraine White. Basically, I am pretty much the person that you be dealing with when it comes to registration, which most of you probably already contacted me to get you registered for your summer courses. So I'll be doing registration. And then also along with registration, there is towards the end of the term when you're getting there, anything that's coming up towards when you're getting ready to graduate, I usually do all that information, such as graduation checks just to make sure you have all your credits that you need to graduate. Also that you have done your final exams, your qualifying exams, anything of that sort that you'll be working through during the semesters that you're here. Also, I'm responsible for the scheduling for the agronomy department. Anything to do with transfer credits that you may have to do with petitions, I'll be the one that works on those for you. And many, many other things that come along once you get here in the program. But again, just as Lisa and everyone has said, if you have any questions at all about anything, please don't hesitate to contact one of us, and we will work very hard to help you get that question answered. And our job here is to help you move through the program as smoothly and as less stress as it can, but at the same time, as Dr. Kenworthy and Dr. Farrell mentioned earlier, please make sure you check any emails that you get from us when we're sending those emails out, because it's very important that you respond to those emails in a timely manner. Also, I just want to touch base on right quick before we get in, registration will end tomorrow. I believe I have registrations for everybody except one person that's coming in for this summer B term, but tomorrow is the last day to register for classes. If you're not registered for at least one class by tomorrow at 11:59, tomorrow night, you will receive $100 late fee. And then also the fees and your tuition will be due on May 23rd, I believe. It's the week after everything. So I think it's May 23rd that fees and everything will be done. So again, with those emails, I'll be sending out emails of reminders for all this information. So please make sure you check your email and respond back to them as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. Since we actually have 3 new faculty that have joined us today, I thought I would let them have a brief moment to introduce themselves. It's rare that we have faculty that choose to join us, but it's great to have them. Eli?
Yeah, so I'm Eli Russell. I am the Aquatic Plant Management Specialist. I am located at the Center for Aquatic and Invasive Plants, which is in Gainesville, but off campus on the northwest side of town. And I have a 60% research and 40% extension appointment.
Great. Dr. Hallignall? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Negus Lenyam. I'm currently located at the Everglade Research and Education Center. I'm nutrient management specialist. I've been in UF actually for the last 3 years, but on the current status, I started just last November. So all of the graduate students, welcome. And if you need any assistance or any help, we're here for you guys. So welcome again.
Dr. Borgado?
All righty, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ednaldo Borgato. I am a weed scientist, just as Eli and Dr. Farrell was in the past. I stay in the West Florida REC, located in Jay, West Florida. And my appointment is 6% research, 40% extension too. If you guys have any weed science questions or any thoughts you'd like to share, don't hesitate to contact.
Great. And I thought that we'd let the students go around and also introduce themselves so that they can begin to get to know other brand new students. Student relationships, I think, are critical. I remember as a graduate student, when I needed help with statistics, I didn't turn to my major professor. I turned to the graduate student sitting next to me, and also for asking questions about classes and other activities to do. So these relationships will be important for you, not only at UF, but potential collaborators as you go through your careers. So I think it's a good idea to go ahead and start trying to build those. So Tan, maybe you could go first.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tang Hui. I will be a master student in Dr. Ot Peter's lab, and I'm happy to be here.
Great. Sabita?
Hello, my name is Oveida. I work in the North Florida Research Center located in Mariana with Professor Barry Tillman and Peanut Weiss. Yeah.
Joseph?
Hi, my name is Joseph. Sorry, I'm on the road. I can't put my video on, but I'll start my master's and I'll be in NFRC in Mariana. Thank you.
Gabrielle?
Hello, my name is Gabriel. I am a master's student in Quincy with Dr. Sudeep.
Great. And Valkyria.
Hi everyone, I'm Valkyria. I'm a PhD student in Dr. Sudeep's lab.
Great. Thank you everyone for participating and joining. I'm going to share my screen. I have a big screen, so sometimes this is complicated. Let's see. What do you see?
We can see it and it looks good, Kevin.
Okay, great. Amazing. So we're going to go through the graduate student handbook. This is really the kind of the pathway for the meeting and will lead our discussion. This is more or less a transfer of information. The document is, I believe it's been sent to you electronically. It's on the department website and it's always there for you to refer to. This is your guidebook for your graduate career in the agronomy department. And please keep it handy in a file that you can easily access and review. This will answer a lot of questions for you. Of course, myself, Lisa, Lorraine, Dr. Farrell, your chairperson, we're all here to help for anything. I'm not going to go through this. Let me get it in a better spot. I'm not going to go through the 57-page document word by word. We will scroll through and try to focus on a few more important things. And please, Lisa and Lorraine, if you have additional things to add versus what I'm covering, or if I go through something too quickly, please feel free to interject and add some more content. And students, if you have any questions, please just go ahead and raise your hand or feel free to interrupt me. That would be far preferable for me than trying to pay attention to the chat. But of course, you're welcome to do that as well, and somebody can let me know. But again, the Agronomy Graduate Student Handbook, welcome to the Agronomy Department. And there are several programs in the department regarding PhD degrees, master's degrees, thesis and non-thesis options that you can look at. It sounds like we mostly have MS thesis students joining us today, and I think one PhD. Here on page 4, I've highlighted some areas that I want to be able to focus on as we go through. This is your information page. This is where, if you're thinking, well, where do I find this? Then you can turn to the Agronomy Graduate Student Handbook and find that listed. Of course, you can also search UF website or the Agronomy Department website for many of the things that you may need. But this is a handy resource to find many of the things that will help you throughout your career at UF. Additional graduate student resources that I just want to quickly mention. Out-of-network medical providers used by students at REC. So many of you are students at REC, so this is an important paragraph for you. And right here, students should be reimbursed for expenses by out-of-network medical providers. Okay, so, you may have some things come up during your graduate career that you require some medical assistance, and those at REC should get reimbursed for those. There are on-campus facilities for graduate students here in Gainesville. Of course, there are in order for you to get reimbursed, there are details described in here that you need to pay attention to, and will need to come back and read if you get in a situation where you need some medical assistance. Some of you may be partially supported by the department, either through your graduate stipend or your tuition. And those students who are partially or fully funded by the department, you will have part of your appointment will require that you serve as a teaching assistant for one course during each academic year of your graduate program. And you may not know what the funding sources are for you, and that's okay. Your chairperson knows, and the department knows. And if you're on our list of those that are supported by the department, then at some point, not this first semester, but at some point, you will be receiving an email from me describing your TA assignment for the coming semester. Some of you could have received an assignment already for the fall or spring, but not for this summer. The graduate students have a collective bargaining agreement with the University of Florida. You can find more information about that. It's a lot of information at this website. We won't go into the detail on the bargaining agreement. One of the important things that you have already been through is your graduate assistant letter of appointment. And this is the letter of appointment that is signed by your chair and by you, in which you should have an understanding of your graduate stipend and the sources that are funding your program. And of course, this is where you may also find out if you're going to have a teaching assistant responsibility, but you will also learn about the responsibilities within your graduate program that are described by the chairperson. Okay, so what does having an appointment mean? So having a graduate appointment means that the student will enter into an employee-employer relationship with the university. If you need to take days off or need personal time, vacation, or sick day, then please, all you need to do is communicate with your supervisor. They need to know where you are and what you're doing, and the department needs to be aware of things that are going on. So please communicate with your chair if you need some time for an illness or just time off. And then this entire paragraph, students on a graduate assistantship through the agronomy department will be contacted, not my IFAS shared services anymore. That doesn't exist. This is a little bit of an outdated statement, but we have an HR person in the department, Ken Baker, who would be the person that's helping to get you set up on payroll. So make sure you're communicating with Ken, Lorraine, and Lisa, and also Jimmy Wynn, who is our financial person in the department. So there are a lot of pieces to making sure that you get on payroll and that you get paid in a timely manner. So please communicate with HR on with regards to these. I expect that the majority of you, if not all of you, are on a tuition waiver. That cannot be inserted until your payroll is set up. So getting payroll going is very important. And having this tuition waiver in place is also very important. If these things are not in place, the U.S. system does not recognize that fees are deferred. And so the system will automatically assess a $100 late payment fee if the student activity fees are not paid by the bursar's office by the deadline. Okay, so this is why it's important to be aware that this can happen. In addition to your stipend and your tuition, there are fees that come with those, and you may be responsible for paying those fees. In order to avoid the $100 late fee, it's recommended that even if you're on a tuition waiver, to avoid that late fee, because it takes a while for the tuition waiver to get inserted, it's recommended that new students pay a nominal fee something like $10 to avoid the inconvenience of the petition process and having to waive the late fee. Okay, nobody wants to get assessed a $100 late fee, and paying $10 can help avoid that if there's a delay in the tuition waivers being processed, and there often are some delays. Each student receiving remuneration in any form or amount through the university is expected to keep their major professor informed at all times. For international students, I believe Lisa did make the comment that you do need to be working closely with your international contact. And are some additional resources here for international students to be aware of. One of these is with respect to online classes, and many of our classes are online, and many of you are at RAC, so you need to pay attention to this 1% or greater than 1% physical presence activity that you are required to comply with. As a guide, holders of a J1 visa are restricted to one 100% online course in your entire degree program. F1 visa holders may take up to one online class per semester. Okay. Many of the courses can be delivered online now, particularly since we have so many students at RACs. So you need to pay attention to this 1% presence requirement. Make sure when you're registering for courses, you're communicating with the instructor to know what the requirements are for the class. And you need to select courses with at least a 1% physical presence activity. This will help you comply with the requirement. It should be stated in the course syllabus, and the most up-to-date syllabi are all posted on the Agronomy website, so you can already look into these details. But there will be some aspect of that course that requires some in-person physical presence by the student, and that helps you comply with this requirement of greater than 1%. Many times this is simply accomplished by in-person exams. There may be an in-person lab or an in-person field trip to the Plant Science Research and Education Unit, which is considered part of campus. So this can be a burden, but it's something that you just need to pay attention to and make sure you're in compliance with. Your appointments are half-time assistantship. In terms of Social Security Administration process, international students need to be in the U.S. 10 days prior to applying for a social security card. And their process is noted here for going about that. We won't go into all of those details. And we're not going to read this detail about, this is some detail about what we hope you become in the agronomy department. But we're going to get into some important things for you to consider. And one of those are grades that you need to be aware of. Grades of C or higher are considered passing grades, and courses with earned grades below C or U are considered failing grades. So this means that a C minus is considered a failing grade. Many courses at UF break the grades down into pluses and minuses, or without a plus or minus designation, such as B plus, B, or B minus, C plus, C, or C minus. Just be aware that a C or above is considered passing. Also need to be aware that anything below a B is going to be looked at hard by your major professor and your committee, and you want to make sure that you're making a B or better in all of your courses just to keep you on track. Your graduate, and this is important because your graduate assistantship is the continuance of that is contingent on maintaining a 3.0 GPA. If your GPA falls below that, that's going to require some petitions by Lisa, Lorraine, and I, and some paperwork to help you work through these situations. So it's important to maintain your grades. If you are, remember we described those that are on department awards, that there is a teaching assistantship requirement. Even without being on a department award, some students will be asked by their major professor to serve as a TA in a class that your major professor is teaching. If you are serving as a teaching assistant, there are some required online trainings, FERPA, and maintaining a safe and respectful campus, sexual harassment, violence and discrimination awareness and prevention. So when you are asked to serve as a TA, you will be offered this information and links that you need to go comply with these trainings. So this is not something you need to be worried about remembering right this moment, but it is something for you to be aware of. For the international students, there are some visa compliance things to be aware of. So fall, spring, and summer enrollment, you must be enrolled in 9 credit hours to conform to USA immigration and your letters of appointment. And then there are some particular things to be aware of, and I will just go ahead and mention to the new faculty that these are good things for the new faculty to be aware of as well, along with the new students. There are some other enrollment requirements here with these next highlighted statements. There is a research hour enrollment in either AGR 6971, research for master's thesis, or AGR 7980, research for doctoral dissertation, is limited to a maximum of 12 credits per semester. That's generally not going to be something you're going to enroll in that many hours for, but there is a limitation to that. For PhD students, enrollment in AGR 7980, research for doctoral dissertation, is not allowed prior to the semester in which the qualifying examination is scheduled and subsequent application for admission to candidacy for the PhD degree. Doctoral students should enroll in 7979 advanced research prior to and in the semester of the candidacy exams. After the semester of your qualifying exams, then you would enroll in 7980. And I believe you have to have your qualifying exam completed 2 semesters prior to your graduation date. Graduate seminar. There is a requirement, and graduate seminar is AGR 6933. All students, PhD or master's students, are required to present an exit seminar to your supervisory committee that will describe your thesis or dissertation research and defend that. It's not part of the committee defense, but it is where you would give a presentation explaining your project and the results that you've come up with. And other people in the department are invited to attend that exit seminar. So with that, this is should be given at the end of your graduate career here at in the agronomy department. Students are required to enroll for AGR 6933 graduate seminar in the semester an exit seminar is given. So generally this is your final semester of enrollment, the same semester you're scheduled to graduate. That's when you would enroll in 6933. And considering that final term enrollment, all students again must enroll in graduate seminar. And then there are some differences whether you are PhD, MS thesis, or MS non-thesis. So these are some things that you need to pay attention to. And these are good things for the new faculty to be aware of as well. They don't have any students in their final semesters yet, but it won't be long before they will. And it's just good to be aware of some of these requirements. A full-time student is a student that is enrolled in 9 to 12 credits in the fall or spring and 6 to 8 credits in the summer. So we generally recommend in the fall and spring that you enroll in 9 credits and 6 credits in the summer to maintain your status as a graduate student. Students are fee liable tuition. For those with tuition waivers or scholarships, it is the student's responsibility to determine the amount owed and to pay all fees other than tuition. So I mentioned this earlier. You may get a tuition waiver from a grant, from your major professor, or from the department, but there will still be fees associated with that tuition that are not provided for in the waiver, and you may be responsible for those. It could be that your major professor or your chair decides to pick those up, but you need to know if you're responsible for paying those fees. Lisa and Lorraine, please feel free to, have me slow down or back up or pause for more information. If there are any questions, please let me know from any of the students.
I have a question.
Okay.
You said about the summer number of credits that we're supposed to have. I believe in the summer we should have 6 to 8. And
Yes.
before you said about the international folks that should have 9, so international folks should have 9 credits even in summer and not 8. Do you know? Yeah, there. Yeah, exactly
Lorraine,
there.
can you add anything there? Is Lorraine still on?
Yes, it's the,
Okay.
there you go.
Sorry about that. Okay, for fall and spring, yes, all of you are required to register for 9 credits. For summer, it gets a little tricky, and this is all new that come up. Summer used to be everybody did 6 credits, but there's 2 categories of students now, is why it's going to either be 6 credits in the summer or 8 credits in the summer. If you are a graduate assistant and you are receiving a Latin American Caribbean award, you need to register for 8 credits. But if you're just on the graduate assistantship, you will register for 6 credits.
Okay. So no 9 credits.
So Lisa or Lorraine, I'm sorry. What is this for the USA immigration 9 credit statement that we have here? That's probably something that I may need to look into.
Okay.
A fairly new graduate coordinator, and I don't know all of the specific
9
points.
credits fall and spring, and then summer, I don't know why the 9 is there, because I always thought it was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also read that it was 8, and I am enrolled right now for 8. And when you said 9, I was like, oh, will I have a problem? Because I am international.
Right, and you're on a graduate assistantship, right?
Yes, and I am in that Latin American.
Right, so yeah, you're good. You should be registered for the 8 credits.
Now, Carrie, we're pretty sure you're good. You might check with your contact at the International Center and make sure you're okay, but I think you're good.
I think that might be wrong there.
Try to make a note to follow up.
Right. Okay.
And that will be my question. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good question. Any more questions?
We might just want to make a note real quick. I've had a couple students reach out to me regarding information on the availability of the LAC scholarship for a summer start student. And seeing as how there's been some recent changes on that, this might be a good platform to address that situation. Dr. Kenworthy, if you want to try to explain a little bit of what's happened with the LAC for the new students starting this summer.
There are no new LACs. That program has been suspended. If a student is already on a LAC, then will continue to be on that. So Valkyria, I'm not sure that you are on a LAC scholarship.
Yeah, because I joined actually in spring.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, she is.
I
Right.
am already in the program.
Important point.
I think Sobiida is probably, she's one of our summer students that's starting, and she has reached out to me recently to ask about that. So that would be a situation that could be exactly what you're talking about, because she's
Yeah.
starting in summer.
Thank you.
We really, yeah, we don't really know the ins and outs. All of it we know is that the program has been suspended. So there are no new LAC scholarships in the foreseeable future for incoming new students.
If that changes, of course, we will let you know, because we're always hopeful that it will come back.
Yeah.
But for now, no.
That's a good point, Lisa. Thank you. Okay, vehicles. There are some department access to vehicles and some electric cars. Another staff member in the office, Carolina Vendrame, is the person to reach out to reserve the use of one of these. You will need to become familiar with the policy and procedures of operating UF-owned vehicles and machinery. A copy of the student's driver's license must be on file with the department. Many of your major professors will have their own state vehicles in their programs. And so make sure that you're not operating one of those unless you have a driver's license. And you also need to be aware of the university insurance policies and also know where the insurance information for that vehicle is located. So you need to ask these questions of your major professor if you're going to be operating a vehicle in their program. Okay, we're moving into program goals and student learning outcomes. And so we're going to scroll down here to the learning outcomes. There are several learning outcomes. So these are things that we expect and hope that you will learn or be exposed to in your time as a graduate student in the agronomy department. Okay? So the first student learning outcome is that students will demonstrate competence in core knowledge of the basic plant sciences. So you may be a new student in weed sciences and you're really very interested in focusing on weed science and wheat science alone. But our department several years ago adopted a policy that we want our students to have a broad background in agronomy. And so to address that, we do have a core requirement that you must meet as part of your graduate curriculum. And so that's in place to give you broader exposure to agronomics, plant physiology, statistics, experimental design, and then also plant breeding and genetics as the four areas of emphasis within the department. so that you don't leave your graduate program and not really understand how to manage a crop, so that you have a good understanding of both weed science, if that's your area of focus, and agronomics or plant breeding and genetics, if that's your area of focus, along with agronomics and other areas. So uh, the goal is that you become trained in in your discipline within agronomy, but that you're also an agronomist when you leave the University of Florida Agronomy Department. Student learning outcome 2, design and execute an innovative research plan, and then have an ability to analyze and put that data together with your statistical interpretation. Third student learning outcome is that we want you to be prepared for leadership roles in your discipline. And that may not happen overnight after you graduate, but the degree is, we want you to be set up to have success in your field so that you can become a leader in your discipline. Student learning outcome number 4, we want students to become critical thinkers, have an ability to communicate through science with writing, orally, conduct proper experiments, collect adequate and correct data, and then synthesize that information. And so you see that these are tied together. This is why we have a core competency, so that students can come together and accomplish all of this. If you can't critically think, you can't complete student learning outcome number 2. So they're all very much connected. Student learning outcome number 5, again, excellence in oral and written communication. Student learning outcome number 6, we expect everyone in the department to be collegial, to have cultural sensitivity. In your programs, you will notice that they are diverse culturally, and that within the department, we are diverse culturally. And so we expect collegial relationships, collegial behavior, and ethical behaviors and practices to be demonstrated by all members of the department, as you would expect in an academic institution pursuing scholarly activities. Some annual evaluations will occur through your graduate career, and those notifications will go out by Lisa, and Lorraine may be involved in those as well. They monitor these, and I'm included in that communication. But these communications go out both to the student and the chairpersons that the annual evaluations need to be completed, and you're also given a timeline for those to be completed. Lisa, do you want to provide anything else with respect to these?
Those just recently went out in the last week or so for this year, because y'all started in summer. Your next one, your first one will be spring of the following year, which is on your offer letter. It states in there somewhere that your evaluation date, where it says evaluation date, should say spring of 2026. So if you started in spring, we may have someone on here that started in spring. Yours also is not due now. It won't be until spring of 2026 as well. So, and those are sent out by me. I don't take credit for remembering. I have reminders set on my calendar to remember every year to send those out to you. So though, like he said, those will go out to yourself and to your advisor with a preferred deadline, because they are a requirement by the university. It's not just something that the agronomy department requires. This is a university requirement that these evaluations are done. So those will come out in the spring. So that's not anything y'all need to worry about till next spring, but that's kind of a nutshell what that's about.
Yeah, excellent addition there, that this is a university requirement. The department's helping to facilitate this, and it is very helpful if everybody gets these done in a
Absolutely.
timely
Yes, it
manner.
is.
And so that was good for the new faculty to hear about the annual evaluation of students. supervisory committee. So there's some things here that were good information for the graduate students to be aware of. Your graduate program will be organized by your supervisory committee. It's typically mostly organized between you and your chairperson, but your committee you will discuss it with your committee, and the committee signs off on that. So in a sense, it is organized by the supervisory committee. So just be aware of your program will need to be communicated with everyone on your committee.
And can I just interject really quick also? This is one of the items that you will be hearing from me communicating on the milestones emails. I send those out once every semester, and they're titled just that, a milestone reminder, is how it will come in your email. This is one of them. Certain timeframes in your programs, I'll be contacting you if we do not have your committee form, if we do not have which Dr. Kenworthy will get to, your program of study. Those are different things that you'll be hearing from me. This is one of them. So it's really important. Again, it's another one of those things that helps us help you stay on track and on target within your program. It helps your advisor as well, to make sure everything's happening when it's supposed to.
Yep. I'm going to talk about some of these forms in a few minutes. The graduate advisor serves as the chair of your supervisory committee. If the advisor is at an REC and you, the student, are spending considerable time on main campus, you really ought to consider a conversation with your chair now about having a co-chair on main campus. This gives you a home while you're on campus and a lab to interact with instead of you just kind of wandering alone. So it can provide you some support and a base for your activities while you're on campus. It is something that I would strongly consider. It is not required to have a co-chair on campus, but it is something I would give high consideration for. As stated above, the committee is responsible for your program, and that includes the coursework and guidance. This is another redundant statement. It's up to your graduate advisor to ensure that you have the resources available to you to conduct your research and complete your research in the time that you have for your assistantship. Generally, not every professor has every single resource, but they're working with colleagues who have those resources. And so if you see that your lab is missing something that you feel like you're going to need in your graduate career, have those conversations with your chairperson, find out who you need to reach out to have those additional resources from, who you might be working with. This helps you get a feel for how your program is going to operate during your time in the agronomy department. Your advisor is going to confirm that you're in compliance with the departmental requirements by periodically reviewing with your program of study that Lisa just mentioned, and we will go over a little bit more here in a few minutes. The graduate advisor mentors PhD students to create an IDP, or individual development plan, by the end of the first term and oversees annual modifications. These IDPs are another milestone that Lisa keeps track of and will send out reminders for, and helps all of us to keep track of those. And we already mentioned the annual evaluation that the graduate advisor completes. The annual evaluation, by the way, is completed by the advisor, but it gets distributed and signed by committee members. Okay, so some specifics about the committees for agronomy graduate students. I don't believe any of the students on today are non-thesis, but you may be, and that's okay. Your committee requirements are that you have a chair that is an agronomy faculty member and a second member that can be any UF faculty member. The second member is not required to be agronomy. For MS thesis, the chair, of course, needs to be an agronomy faculty member, a second member, an agronomy faculty member, and then a third member, any UF faculty member, including one for a minor or concentration. So some MS programs only have 3, some will have 4, but you've got to have at least 2 members from the agronomy department. For a PhD, you need 2 members from the agronomy department. Specifically, the chair must be from the department and a second member. A third member can be from any UF department, including agronomy, and there is a fourth external member that is not from the department. Go ahead.
Can I ask?
Yes.
I have a question about this.
Please.
So I have my chair, and I also have a co-chair that is not from the agronomy department. This co-chair counts as my chair, so both count as one person, or it will be like my chair is one person and my co-chair is the second member, for example.
Yeah, the co-chair is a co-chair, and that is separate from the chair. So they count as individual members of your committee. And it's perfectly fine that the co-chair is outside the department. The co-chair does not have to be within the department.
Okay. Thank
Does
you.
that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. If you're selecting to have a minor as part of your degree, then you need a representative from the field of that minor on your committee. Since we had a question about co-chairs, if the co-chair has agronomy faculty status, then that co-chair is permitted to substitute for the chair. If, for instance, the chair is not able to be present for an exam, then the co-chair can substitute, but they must be have agronomy faculty status in order to do so. And then these are just some other information related to some of these titles given to second member, third member, or external member.
Dr. Kenworthy, I just want to express something about the committee forms, and just want to let everybody know if at any point you change your committee, you please need to let me or Lisa know something changed within your committee so that we can keep these all up to date in GEMS and in our records. Because if it's not up to date, for example, and you go to do a qualifying exam or a final exam, and it's not up to date with all your committee members that you want on there, that could be a big problem. So anytime if you change your committee, please let us know that you're changing somebody on your committee so that we can help you along with the forms or whatever we need to do to get that updated in GEMS.
And if I can add on to what she just said, when I send you out the milestone, say you've already turned in your committee form and your committee's already appointed, but say that was a year ago. When I send out an email to you and I'm asking you for your program of study, but I don't mention that I need your committee form because we already have it. If you know you've changed your committee form, that's a good time to tell, just let me know I've changed my committee. Can you send me another form if you don't have the template? That's a good reminder for you when I send out the milestone, even if I don't ask for it, if you know, because we don't know if you've changed your committee unless you tell us. So yes, please. Like she said, it's really critical that everything's correct and accurate as we go through, so you don't get to the end when you're trying to graduate or do whatever and there's a huge problem.
Any change needs to be documented. A change is not a change if it's only a conversation between you and your major chairperson. A change
Exactly.
must be
Right.
documented.
Yeah, each one of you has an electronic file here that is full of everything, that any communication that you send, that it'll track this. So we help keep track of what you're changing. So you email us that you want to change something, that's how we'll keep track of it and do it.
Okay, so since we're talking about some of these forms, the committee appointment form and process, the supervisory committee is again responsible to help the student as needed and is selected based on their expertise relative to your research project or career objective. So here's a screenshot of the committee appointment form that you would be filling out and submitting for review by me, and then approval by me and submission by Lisa. So it is important that this gets done in a timely manner. It's not a difficult form. You have to provide a brief summary of your dissertation or thesis or non-thesis project. This is, 3 or 4 or 5 sentences summary that you're going to write in this box. Other than that, it's mostly just names of the committee members and some things that need to get filled out. It's not a complicated form. I'm not going to go into criteria for readmission at this point. I know we're going through this relatively quickly. If someone gets into a situation such as this, you're not going to remember that we even talked about it today. So, but that would be some information in here. Remember, you can always turn to the handbook for some information or reach out to me to help you through some of these processes. Okay, so very importantly, the program of study. This is a term that you've already heard a couple of times today. And this is a minimum agreement between the graduate student, the supervisory committee, that really defines the framework of the classes you're going to take through your graduate program. So this POS is your graduate program. At least the framework of it. It doesn't have to be every bit of it, but it will be the framework. It's also referred to as the Form 2, and this is another one of those forms that is administered by Lisa that gets submitted to me for approval, approved by your committee, and final approval by me, and then formally submitted into the system by Lisa. This is a very important form. This is one of those critically important for the new faculty to be aware of as well. And we have different program of study forms depending on if a student is non-thesis, MS thesis, or PhD, and there are some slightly nuances or variances depending on your degree track. And so here's the process of the program of study. Again, I already said this, but it's worth going through with the bullets. You're going to select courses and discuss those with your chair. Okay? I always tell students, you know who you want to be. You understand the discipline that you're here studying. Please look through our department and other departments for those courses that are relevant for you. And then you and I are going to talk about those. And so you're going to select courses. You're going to discuss these with your chair. You're going to fill out the program of study template, submit that to me for review. Once I've given you an okay, you're going to present that to your committee along with a research proposal. The committee may suggest some modifications to the program of study or to the coursework. You're going to need to address those changes and then send a revised version back to me for another review and final approval so that Lisa can send it around for signature and formal loading in the system. I'm seeing trying to remember what's down here. I'm scrolling past. I'll come back, I promise. I just want to make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. Okay. Lisa or Lorraine can verify. Generally, we have a requirement that the program of study and the committee form and the proposal are turned in by the end of the second semester. Is that correct?
I think it's the third semester.
End or beginning of the third?
End of the third, I
End
think.
of the third. Okay.
I
So
believe so.
this is a major point that I want to really try to hammer home with our new faculty. You're in the students, and most of you are master's students. I'm frequently not given these forms to review until sometime in the third semester. Meanwhile, it's a 2-year master's program, and you're almost done with it, and it's just now being reviewed. I really want to impress upon you to do this very quickly in your graduate career. It will help tremendously to provide a pathway for your coursework. You have to come in and determine courses for the summer, right? You have a requirement to register. Why not just go ahead and sit down and work out a program of study? And even though you may not be able to meet with the committee yet and get committee approval, you can at least go ahead and get the graduate coordinator's preliminary review to make sure it's an appropriate program of study, because there are some nuances that make it correct. And a lot of faculty and students don't understand some of these nuances. So I'm really trying hard to politely impress upon everyone a need to do this quickly. I did just this week, there's a student who's going to graduate in December, and here it is May, and we're just now approving committee forms and programs of study. And, you know, it's okay, the student's fine, but what if something needed to be changed that was going to then affect the coursework for the student and their ability to graduate on time, that might cost the faculty member more money and delay your own progress in your own career? So really, truly, there's no reason for a program of study to take a long time before it gets submitted, and a graduate committee as well. The proposal, of course, that's understandable. Nobody can do that immediately. That does take some time, but these forms can be taken care of pretty quickly. Lisa, do you have anything to?
Was just thinking that you don't have to wait for me to send out the milestone, even though it's on a schedule. You certainly don't have to wait. And I can send you these form templates at any time. Just send me an email, say, can you send me the POS and the committee form? And I would certainly send the ones that for your program to you, and you can get those done. You do not have to wait for the milestone email. Also, on a side note of that, there is a note in that email that says if you need to request an extension, if this deadline is just going to be a huge problem for you for some reason, to contact Dr. Kenworthy and request an extension. I would recommend that you try not to use that unless it really, really, really is insurmountable. Because like he said, then we've had students that just keep extending, and then we end up in a situation where we're literally weeks from the end and you've crossed your fingers that everything's okay. So unless that option's there if you need it, but please try not to take it unless you absolutely really do need it. That's why we offer it. So to help avoid the last minute situation he's referring to, Please feel free to ask for the forms and don't delay. You can change them later if you need to.
And the links for those are right here in the.
They are in there.
In
They
the
are on the
handbook.
website under the current student, I believe. And just send me an email. I can send it to you in 30 seconds. So.
And these are things that you're having to remember. They're on your list of things to do. Check those off. And by you checking those off, that allows Lisa to check them off her list.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay. We mentioned the core that we adopted. I don't know. It's been a long time that the department adopted this approach of having a core requirement of classes so that students come out of our department with a broad background in agronomy. And so these are the next couple of pages are the 4 categories and courses that are aligned with those core groupings. The cores are number 1, plant physiology, biochemistry. Number 2, plant breeding, genetics, and genomics. Number 3, plant ecology, management, and nutrition. And then the 4th one, statistical or data analysis. And each student is required a minimum of 3 credit hours from each of these 4 groups. This is the core competency. Okay. And, sometimes there may be a course that fits one of these headings, but is not listed here. And that's okay. You can communicate with me. This is a departmental requirement. It doesn't go above the department. So I have the flexibility of saying, yes, that class works for the core. Okay. But this is one of those things that your major professor needs to be aware of, and you need to be aware of when you're filling out your program of study. It's one of those things that I will check during my review of your program of study. And so there are a lot of options so that you can tailor your individual program. I'll be honest, the one that causes most students the greatest heartache are the non-genetics and plant breeding students and the requirement to meet the genetics and plant breeding core requirement. I really encourage you to not avoid that. Understanding how crops are developed can help you understand how you need to evaluate a particular crop and the way it's managed. Okay, understanding the way or understanding how herbicide resistance might occur in weeds. You get that understanding from taking a plant breeding and genetics course. So there's broad application to all of these core requirements, and you can benefit from those. The following pages are some example programs of study. And for the first one here is with a PhD. A PhD requires 90 credits beyond the bachelor's. And importantly, you can request credit transfer from your master's for 30 credits. If your master's is at the University of Florida, the number of credits can be above that, but you want to be able to transfer as many credits as possible from your master's program. And Lorraine helps to facilitate this process. This used to be handled at the level of the graduate school to review and approve these, but these are now handled within the department and within the level of your chair of your supervisory committee is now the one who will determine the suitability and acceptability for transfer credit from your master's program. This is a new policy that has taken effect in the last year.
Yes.
Lorraine, do you have anything to add for that?
Also, I'd just like to add, since it is a new process, we are still working on some of those that need to be done. But for all you guys, when you get ready to do these, if for some reason you need to do 30, the transfer credits of that, you can just kind of like just put those number of credits in there. And then once we get the transfer credit done and approved and everything, we can go back and fix that if it's less than 30 credits that you need.
Right. What she's referring to is filling out the program of study. The approval for the actual approval of the 30 credits can take some time, but you may be ahead of the game in filling out your program of study. And what Lorraine just said is go ahead and put in the 30 credits in the program of study. And hopefully we don't have to make any amendments to that, but if we need to, we can in the future. There aren't a lot of specific requirements for the PhD except for the 90 hours, and you need to satisfy the 4 core requirements. Okay. There are actually more specific requirements for a master's. We do offer a PhD in agroecology, global systems. And we have another faculty member. I've just realized that Dr. Koenig's not with us today.
He's in Costa Rica.
Oh, good for her.
They're teaching a summer course down there, her and
Yeah.
Dr. Hammond.
Right.
So Dr. Rose Koenig, she oversees anything to do with agroecology. So if you're pursuing a program that is with agroecology, she will actually review your program of study and give the final approval for that. There's a couple of other things that we will mention about that. So here we have the master's program of study. Let's see. We're going to use this one because there's the blow up here. So for a master's student, you're required to have 30 credit hours, okay? And so you don't want to be short of those 30 credit hours. And within those, you have at least 15 of those credits that are related to the agronomy major, 12 of which are not AGR 6971 master's research. So if you look up here, if we look at this and we add these up, we have 12, we have 15. There's not a specific number put here in this example for master's research, but will often be 6. You need to put in the semester that you're going to be taking the course. For master's or PhD research, you can just put various because some of that gives you some flexibility that some of that can change over time. There is master's research is noted down here. I've never noticed this is kind of an error that we have this mentioned redundantly. But remember, one of the requirements is that you enroll for 1 hour of agronomy seminar. That's AGR 6933 in your final semester. You will also enroll in 3 hours of master's research in your final semester, not 6. But it depends on the semester and what the requirements are for your graduate committee. But we have 12, 15, 16, 22, 27. There are 30 credit hours here, and then another 3 that was a request to transfer. And this is just an example, so we wouldn't generally transfer 6093. It's an approved course. But you're going to check off this box. A lot of students forget to check the boxes that they have at least 15 credits towards the agronomy major, or that you have a total of 30 credits and 6 or less are master's research. You don't have these boxes that you need to check for a PhD, but for a master's student, these are part of the steps in filling out the program of study. the other thing not provided here is that you have to meet the 4 core requirements in these selected courses. And then remember that the core has some flexibility that I can add to that if you identify another course. But notice here that in this one, the example is filled out as noting that a core is being completed. But the other important part is that the 15 credits have to be part of the agronomy major or associated with the agronomy major. And so those courses are listed further down. I'm going to go ahead and go down to those. And then we'll come back up. So here's where you find which courses are approved. And these are courses that are approved at the graduate school level. All right, so this relates to those 12 or 15 hours that must be part of the agronomy graduate curriculum that count towards the degree. And this is important for the master's. So there's a long list of courses, but occasionally a student will identify a course that's critical for their research and their career goals that is outside of this course, and we will have to petition for that to be included if you're not meeting the minimum number of hours of agronomy major courses. And that's something we can do, and we're happy to do that. But if it can be completed with these, that avoids a step for you and just more paperwork. But we're happy to do that if that's what your graduate needs are. But there are a lot of courses here that comply, and including a list of non-AGR courses that count towards the agronomy major. You see some PLS headings, ALS, IPM, and then other CALS courses that contribute to the agronomy major. So you just need to check this list as you're filling out the program of study. This is another area that I check with the program of study. All right, we're going to go back up. Any questions on the programs of study? Another one of those milestones that we mentioned earlier is the individual development plan. And this is something that is required for all PhD students in agronomy. So this is in addition to the annual evaluation, but it is due with the first annual evaluation. And then it must be annually updated and submitted. So this is another milestone reminder that Lisa sends out, and it's one of those that she recently sent out and is due here, I think, at the end of the month. Is that correct, Lisa?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's another fillable form. It's not too difficult, but it is one of those things that it's good for you as a student to be aware of. Your major chair and you will receive the reminder notification from Lisa. I would recommend that you don't always sit around and wait on your chair, but you take these things directly to him or her with the desire to get these out of the way so that you can check this off the box and comply with the requirements. Okay, so here's where a couple of the more specific things are mentioned, whether it's a Master of Science non-thesis, thesis, or PhD. And of course, you can look through these. I've just highlighted a couple of things. We've talked about the core requirements, but if you're a non-thesis student, you're exempt from those 4 core requirements. You're going to end up taking classes in most of those core areas, but it's not a requirement. For a thesis, then those 4 core requirements are required. You need a total of 30 credits approved by your supervisory committee, the department, the college, and the graduate school. And those are listed in that program of study. And that's why it's important to try to do this sooner or later, because it goes all the way up the line and gets approval within the college and the graduate school. You may take more than 6 credits of master's research, but only a maximum of 6 can count towards the 30. Okay. You need you need 15 credits to count that are associated with that agronomy major. It says a minimum of 12 here because 3 of those can be AGR 6971 master's research. So you need a minimum of 12 of 5,000 level or higher of agronomy courses that are approved in that graduate catalog list, which is the list that we just scrolled down and looked at. We have the graduate seminar requirement in the final term. There's some information on your final examination, or thesis defense is generally what we refer to that in the agronomy department. Some departments refer to that differently. And then for the PhD student, again, a minimum of 90 total credit hours. You will have that transfer of credit from your MS degree. And again, that is something that's now going to be approved and forwarded by your major professor, working with Lorraine and I to get that accomplished. And again, even for PhD, you have that 1 credit seminar requirement in your final term. There is a UF campus residency requirement as specified by the supervisory committee and letter of appointment. And details for the qualifying examination. In our department, we have both a written examination followed by an oral examination. Collectively, they are the qualifying examination. So they count as one. A failure in one part is a failure of the entire qualifying exam. Okay, so just bear in mind that it's a 2-part qualifying exam, a written requirement and an oral requirement. And once you pass that, you then become a PhD candidate in the department, and you will have a final examination, which is a defense, much like the thesis defense, except it's a defense of your dissertation. Any questions? I know that's a lot, and a lot of scrolling, and a lot of highlighting. That's it for me in terms of what I planned to cover. So Lisa and Lorraine, you may have some final comments, which are certainly welcome and always appreciated.
I would just reiterate to please reach out to us at any time. If you have any questions, and if we do send you an email, I reiterate, please read it, because usually what we're contacting you for is something important. Otherwise, we wouldn't be wasting your time if we weren't to contact you. So just that would be all that I would stress.
Yes, that's basically the main thing. We just keep harping on more and more is just check your emails. And especially right now with the term, registration is about to end, and then the term starts on May 12th. So just look out for those emails that's going to be coming to you. And again, we can't stress more. Please just notify us, email us if you have any questions about anything.
If you feel like you're delayed in getting something done, please respond to Lisa and Lorraine. The worst thing is not to respond, because eventually then I get pulled in and I'm going to bring in your major professor, and everybody's going to get a direct, blunt email from me. And so if you're responsive to Lisa and Lorraine, that avoids further conversations. And even if you feel like you're delayed or you can't maybe meet, then communicate that. Everybody's here to help. Everybody's here to make you feel comfortable. We're all invested in your success in the department, and we want your experience at the University of Florida Agronomy Department to be the best experience in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if there aren't any other questions, then we can sign off. Happy to take a question, or if you want to email me, please feel free to email me something as well. Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you for the
You're
clarification.
welcome.
Bye.
Valkyria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.